Hello everyone, my name is Saroj Bhangade. Today date is 25 February 2022. Today video topic is the pharmacovigilance terminology. What is the pharmacovigilance? Pharmacovigilance is the science and activity relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, prevention of the adverse effect or any other drug related problem. Next is the vaccine pharmacovigilance, the science and activity relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, and communication of adverse event following the immunization and other vaccine of immunization related issue. And to prevention of the untoward effect of the vaccine immunization. Next is a concept of day zero. The day zero is a when anyone of your personal, including any third parties, vendor or vendor parties partner that have been neglected pharmacovigilance responsibilities of the sponsor become aware of the issue. We first where the we where the first aware of the case reporting certified the minimum valid criteria is termed as the day zero initial receipt date and awareness of date. Next is the minimum criteria for reporting. First is the identify patient. The example age, gender, initial, and patient hospital number. Next is the suspect medicinal product. Means drug identify. Third is the identify reporting source. Name, contact information, and address of reporter. Fourth is the at least one adverse event. Next is the what is adverse event? Any untoward or medicinal occurrence of the patient or clinical trial subject administered medicinal product and which does not necessarily have to casual relationship with the treatment. Next is the adverse reaction. Adverse reaction may arise from use of the product within the outside that the term marketing authorization or the form of occupational exposure. Condition of the use outside the marketing authorization include overdose, misuse, abuse, and medication error. Next is a serious adverse event. The serious adverse reaction means the adverse reaction which is result in death, life threatening, require in the patient hospitalization or prolongation of the existing hospitalization, result in persisting or significant disability or incapability or birth defect. Next is a suspected unexpected serious adverse reaction. SUSAR is a serious adverse drug reaction whose nature or severity and unexpected based on the applicable product information. Next is the unexpected adverse reaction, UAR. An adverse reaction, the nature or severity of the which is not consist with the applicable product information. Example: investigational brochure for the unauthorized in investigational product or summary of the product characteristic for any authorized product. Next is the severe event. Severe is a use of to describe the intensity of the specific event. Mild, moderate, severe. The event itself, however, may be of the relatively minor medicinal significance. Next is the spontaneous report. The spontaneous report is the system where the case report of adverse drug event or professional or pharmaceutical voluntary submitted from the health manufacturer or pharmaceutical manufacturer to the national regulatory authorities. An unsolicited communication by a regulatory authority, healthcare professional, consumer, or other person that describe an ADR and adverse event in a patient administered the product and which does not derive from the study or organized data collection scheme. Next is the literature. Literature is a another form of the case reporting is a form of literature researcher ADR which appear in published literature. Are they included in requirement for reporting? ICS MAH are expected to maintain the awareness of the possible publication by assessing the widely use of systematic literature review and a reference database including the journalists. Next is a solicited report. Solicited report derived from the organized data collection system which include the clinical trial registry, post approval name patient use program, other patient support program, and survey of the patient or a healthcare provider of information gather on efficacy and patient compliance. Next is the reportability. Any case that meet the criteria special requirement for the expedited submission to the health authority or co-marketing partner. The next is the HCP, healthcare professional, the medically qualified person such as a physician, dentist, pharmacist, nurse, or as other specified local regulation. Next is a MH, marketing authorization holder. The company has the regulatory permission to manufacture and market the product. Marketing the product given a country or region. Therefore, the legal responsibility to comply with the pharmacovigilance require holder. Next is the ICSR. ICSR is the individual case safety report. It is an adverse drug reaction of individual patient and it is a source of documents for pharmacovigilance. Next is a consumer. A person who is not a healthcare professional such as a patient, lawyer, friend, relative, parent, children of patient. Next is the suspect drug. The suspect drug is the company drug which are us testing for the safety is a drug suspect. Any drug which is maybe potentially be implicated in a ecology of the adverse event. Next is the non-suspect drug, also known as a concomitant medication. It is a person taken long with a become concomitant medication. Concomitant drug won't be have any relation with the adverse event. Next is the pass drug. Pass drug is a drug which is are completed discontinued prior to the start of the treatment which is with the suspect drug and which are not through to have caused the event. Next is a counterfeit medicinal product. The counterfeit medical product is which deliberately or fraudulently mislabel with the respect to identify and sources. Next is the medical history. In the medical history screen, we only need to list and relevant medical history and counterfeit medication. Next is the drug dependency, a physical and psychological phenomenon making the repeated issue of the compulsive drug dependency generally occurs after the patient has been taken a drug for the long time and or a high doses it is necessary for the patient. Next is the withdrawal syndrome, adverse event experienced by the product after the withdrawal of the drug. Next is the overdose. As a describe above, there the maximum uh, permissible dose for every medicinal product. When it is administered above the maximum recommended dose, it is considered as a overdose. Next is the medication error. Any mistake in the medication use process, including prescribing, transcribing, dispensing, and administering and monitoring. Next is the suicide attempt case. The report where the patient was the drug before the suicide attempt, that is the drug maybe have influence the action. Next is the drug abuse. Use of the drug by itself, medication in a manner and amount that derive from approved medicinal and social pattern in the given culture at a given time. Next is the drug interaction. The action of the one drug upon the efficacy and toxicity of the one or more other drug interaction also include the drug interaction, drug food interaction, drug alcohol interaction, and drug alcohol interaction. Next is the lack of effect. Any failure or expected pharmacovigilance action. Next is the placebo. Placebo is the inactive pills, liquid or powder that has no treatment value in clinical trial. The experiment treatment are the often the compare with the placebo to assess treatment effectiveness. Next is the IND. IND is the investigational new drug application. A new drug, antibiotic or biological drug used in the clinical investigation. It is also include the biological product and in vitro for diagnosis purpose. NDA, new drug application, an application submitted by the manufacturer of the drug to the FDA after clinical trials have been completed for the license to market the drug for specified indication. Next is the off-label use. A drug prescribed for when the drug is approved by the regulator, they get specified approval to use for the certain indication or population, certain population or dose. However, sometimes it is a notice that the drug is intentionally prescribed for the medicinal purpose. It is not explicitly indicated for. Next is the open label trial, a clinical trial in which a doctor and patient participant and know which drug or vaccine is the administration. Next is the blind. It is a trial in which the both patient or doctor has no idea regarding for two drug that has been given. Next is the international birth date. The date of the first marketing authorization for the any product containing the active substance granted to any company in any country in the world. Next is the data log point. The data log point are represent the cutoff date of the data and analysis presented in the documents. Next is a signal detection. The WHO defined the signal as a reported information and a possible causal association between the adverse event and drug. The relationship between the unclear or incompletely documented previously. This is the pharmacovigilance terminology. Thank you.